Okay, several of you seem to be struggling yesterday in class when we were talking about slope-intercept, standard form, and then graphing your inequalities. So I'm going to start today with just getting some of these equations into slope-intercept form. All right, remember, slope-intercept form means that y is by itself. So I have written slope-intercept form up here. Okay, y you will see is always on the left and it's always by itself. M will be some kind of number, and that is your slope, and B will also be some kind of number. All right, so in order to look at our first one and rearrange, I need to move my 3x first. Anytime you cross the sign, okay, in this situation it's an inequality, you're going to change the sign of what you moved. So everything else stays the same. Bring down the negative 2y. Bring down your inequality sign. That becomes a negative 3x, and this stays a positive 12. Then to get y all by itself, we are going to divide everything by negative 2. All right, warning, warning. Remember, when you divide by a negative, you have to flip your sign. So that gives me y is less than or equal to 3 over 2x, because two negatives make a positive, minus 6. Now, if we were to graph this one, our sign right here, because we have the line underneath it, our sign would be less than or equal to, so our line would be solid. And since it is less than, we would shade below. All right, let's do another one over here. Okay, still trying to get y by itself. So again, I'm going to move x, and when I move x, it's going to become negative. Now to get y all by itself, I'm going to divide by 4 on everything. So y is less than or equal to negative 1/4 x plus 4. Again, because of our sign right here, we are solid, and we would also be below. So now I'm going to work out your homework problems from last night, just so that you can see the work that goes into rearranging the equations and how to graph the lines. All right, so let's start with number 1. You'll notice that it is already in slope-intercept form. Okay, that means I don't need to rearrange anything. So we would start with our y-intercept, which is negative 4. So I'm going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to graph my slope from there. My slope is 2 over 1, meaning I'm going to go up 2 and right 1. Remember, we're going to do that as many times as we can on our graph just to make our line better. All right, we've got a less than sign. So since there is no line underneath it, we are going to have a dotted line or a dashed line. And less than means we're going to shade below. So I'm going to draw a dashed line through my points, and I am going to shade below. All right, problem number 2. It is also already in the proper form, so that makes it a little bit easier. So we're going to start at our y-intercept, which is positive 1, and our slope is negative 3 over 1, which means I'm going to fall 3 and still run in the right direction. Okay, remember, I can go both ways. If I don't fall and I rise, I need to go the opposite direction for my run. All right, looking at our sign up here, that is greater than or equal to. So since there's a line underneath it, that tells me it's going to be solid, and greater than means I'm going to shade above. So I'm going to draw a solid line through my points, and I'm going to shade above that line. Problem number 3. Once again, it is already in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to start at positive 2. And then my slope is 1/2. So I'm going to go up 1 and right 2. Okay, remember you can do the same thing. All right, my sign is less than or equal to. So since I have the line underneath, it's going to be a solid line, and less than means below. So I'm going to draw a solid line through here, and I'm going to shade below. Right. Number 4 is the last one that is already in slope-intercept form for us. So once again, we're going to start at our y-intercept, which is 4. Then we're going to graph our slope, which is negative 2/3. So from that 4, I'm going to fall 2 and run 3. I can't do that again either way. All right, my sign is greater than. So no line underneath it means I draw a dashed or dotted line. And greater than means I shade above. So I'm going to draw a dashed line through my points, and I'm going to shade above. So that's the first 4 problems from your homework last night. All of those were already in slope-intercept form, so you do not have to rearrange your equation. The next 4 that I will do, you do have to rearrange your equation, and then we're going to proceed just like we did the first 4. So the first problem is going to be problem number 5. The first thing I need to do is I need to move my 3x, and it becomes negative. Everything else stays the same. In order to get y all by itself, I'm going to divide by negative 2. Warning, warning, I divided by a negative, so my sign needs to flip. This becomes a positive 3/2x and a negative 4. So in order to graph, I'm going to start at negative 4. And then I'm going to graph my slope from here. So that's a rise of 3 and a run of 2. Rise of 3, run of 2. Okay, my sign is less than, so that is dashed and below. Look at your sign at the finished problem, not at the start. Okay, so dashed and below. Number 6, when I move my 2x, it becomes negative. Now y is all by itself. So I'm going to start at my plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to graph my slope. That's a rise of negative 2. So that's down 2 and right 1. Okay, my sign is greater than or equal to, so that's going to be solid. And greater than means we're going to shade above. So I'm going to draw a solid line. And I'm going to shade above. Moving on to problem number 7. Rearranging it y by itself, I'm going to move my x. That y is still negative. So in order to get y all by itself, I need to divide by negative 1. Warning, warning, I divided by a negative, so I need to flip my sign. This becomes a positive x and a positive 3. So I will start at positive 3 and plot my slope, which is up 1 and over 1. Okay, and remember, I'm going to go in both directions. My sign is greater than or equal to, so that's going to be solid, and greater than means above. So a solid line and shade above. Okay, and the last one that y'all had was number 8. So to get y by itself first, I'm going to move my 4x, and it becomes negative 4x